Hope you're ready. It's time for Decentralize Now.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Busted, and you're listening to Decentralize Now. Chemtrail had to sit the show out this week. He was sick with the coronavirus. Just kidding, he doesn't have the coronavirus, but at the time we didn't know. So I got up with my friends over at the Blackballed Podcast, and we actually did a live stream. So the show you're going to hear tonight is the recording of the live show. You've probably heard us talk a lot about the Blackballed Podcast on this show, and it's because it's a fucking great podcast. It's a great show. We really enjoy listening and watching, and we enjoy even more when we get to go on their show and be a part of it. So this week, again, this is my solo appearance on the Blackballed Podcast. I hope you guys enjoy, and be sure to check out the Blackballed Podcast on Facebook, on YouTube. They're on iTunes. They're all over the place. They're constantly doing live streams on Facebook and YouTube. So definitely go over there, give them a like, give it a share, give it a subscribe, and of course, give us a like and a subscribe. Hopefully, if you're listening, you've already done that. But you can check Decentralize Now. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on SoundCloud. You can check us out on Breaker. And if you ever forget any of the sources for us, you can always go to our website, decentralizenowpodcast.com. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, man, we are live now tonight,
Yes.
Boys and gals. We do not have Mark Denark from Shotcast Podcast, but we have someone more handsome. I'll say that. Don't tell Mark, but he's more handsome. From what little I've seen, from what little you can see, he is the co-host of Decentralize Now. He is currently as silhouette as you can be from like gangland shit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pierce from Blackballed with Busted from Decentralize Now.
I'm just so happy to be here.
Currently, he's in hiding with Edward Snowden.
I've always wanted to visit Russia, to be honest.
Dude, I'm actually kind of just considering moving there, to be honest with you. I mean, it seems a lot more free in the places that I like and restricted in the places I don't than America right now.
I've never really had a problem with Russia, man. Like, I don't know what all this hatred from Russia comes from, They're messing with our elections. They're taking over the goddamn Chi-coms.
Exactly. What's even more weird to me is the idea that they used to be like Soviet communists, right? And that was bad, but now they're like, people want them to be Soviet communists because they're too far right now. It's like, no, I like them now. I like Russia now. I like post-mob, post-wall Russia. That's my ideal Russia. I like Putin a lot. Let's do that. Keep it.
I don't mind Putin, man. And straight up, dude. Why the fuck are we fucking with Russia? Do we not want these people to like us? You know what I mean? They're totally a country you need to have as a fucking ally, right?
Yeah, I'd say they're pretty vital in keeping not hostile. Them and North Korea, and I like how one of the big talking points in this whole Democratic debate so far has been Trump's friendship, they say, with Kim Jong-un. It's like, well, it's certainly better than going to war with them.
Every president says they're going to do that. None of them have.
Exactly.
Every president, we're gonna get relations with North Korea. We're gonna get North Korea. We're gonna have good relations with them, and none of them fucking do it. And Trump's like, "Fuck it, call my private jet. Let's go."
Yep, I loved the side-by-side images of Trump walking over the DNZ line or whatever it is, the DMZ, and the demilitarized zone, and the flashback of Obama sitting in a bulletproof glass case like a mile from it with binoculars. Like, what a pussy, dude. What a pussy.
Like the fucking Pope or some shit.
Exactly. Oh my God, what a time, man. It's funny how we used to, as Americans, we used to really celebrate masculinity and the roll your sleeves up, suspender wearing, work hard presidents, the Ronald Reagans. Even if you didn't like his policies, in retrospect, the guy was a go-getter, a guy that no one fucked with militaristically. And I like the reinvigoration of that principle with a lot better relations with minorities, unlike Reagan. it was very much like, let's just put drugs on them. let's get my wife to just plow through their mounds with tanks.
It doesn't. I mean, there's definitely an attack on masculinity. You know, I mean, they try and feminize everything. I mean, even to the point to like, you know, basically telling kids like, "Hey, you should maybe cut your dick off." It's fucked up. It's so fucked up. They're definitely they go after masculinity and they go after strong presidents. And I think the biggest reason they don't like Trump. And I'm not even saying like I'm necessarily like a huge Trump supporter, right? I mean, like, let's face it, he's done a lot for gun control. He's done a lot more for gun control than even Obama did, which is kind of insane. But to you know, I think the biggest reason they don't like him is he just can't be bought. You know, how do you control somebody that has his own money? Like, Trump came out when he was running, he straight up said, you know, if I don't get the if I don't get the Republican ticket, I'll just fucking run as an independent. Like, I'm not going away. I'm running this shit. I'm gonna win this shit. Like, you're not getting rid of me. That's fucking awesome. You know, I really liked that, and I think what's scary about that to like the establishment and shit is, again, he has his own money. You know, like Obama was in the pocket of the fucking insurance companies. You know, how many fucking pockets of is Big Pharma in of all these fucking senators and congressmen and shit, you know? Trump's like, I got my own money, fuck you.
Yeah, that's one of the, you know, people often disavow or want to eradicate the idea of million and billionaires, but in reality, even if he didn't like Bloomberg, he was going to be the same way. It's like, no, he's got enough money to not be bought out. Now, granted, his ideas were, but the same principle stands. Trump has the fuck you money. He doesn't need to be selling his soul and his political views away for empty promises to get campaign endorsement. Exactly. He was able to just fund it himself.
And it's weird you brought, because I've been thinking the same thing, man. I really think the Democratic Party really thought like Bloomberg was going to be like blue Trump. You know what I mean? He's got his own money. He doesn't need it. He can't be bought. He's just a horrible person. You know, you left that fucking part out.
Well, that's the thing. I said that on a few podcasts ago. I was like, Trump is a rich 1% New York hard-nosed billionaire. Meet Mike Bloom. Oh, and also he became president based off of memes. Meet Mike Bloomberg, who is a rich 1% hard-nosed billionaire. Now, the only difference is, other than skin pigmentation, the only difference is Bloomberg
like
paid meme
about
companies.
2 feet.
Oh, about 2 feet. You're right, exactly. Well, that and then Bloomberg paid meme companies. Trump just had the world on his back because half the world was like, "Fuck it, let's just be funny with this," and the other half was like, "No, let's just meme the fuck out of him into existence." I mean, because of people like the Milo Yiannopoulos of the world,
the left can't meme movement. You know, we've talked about that on our show, man. It's true. They really did like meme that into existence. They memed it happen.
It's unreal. Yeah, it's so crazy. Now, here's the sad reality of the DNC for those who are Democrats, those who do lean left, and maybe you're on the fence about it, but maybe you still hold to these more liberal ideas of social progress or social, I hate the word, justice. So you now have been fucked by the DNC twice in a row at least. You won it with Obama. It was very easy to do that, and there's no disrespect. I mean, it was historic, and people like to vote on history. People like to vote on that. But the DNC has fucked over their people, right? The people they're supposed to be representing, which includes minorities that they're so damn concerned about, apparently, in forcing Bernie to lose. Both times now. Bernie will not win this election. Bernie will not be the Democratic candidate. And here's why. The same reason, number one, Hillary owned the DNC. Bloomberg doesn't own it. Biden doesn't own it. But Biden is now the Hillary. He's the poster boy of the DNC. And no matter what progress they claim to be a part of, no matter what agendas they claim to hold with their rainbow logos and other corporate companies, all together, they are enslaved to technocracy. They're enslaved to no change. Because change from taking money away from the millionaires and billionaires and the elites and the technocrats is what Bernie wants to do, allegedly.
Allegedly, right? He's one of those fucking people, you know? And, like, I always felt like... I found it very fucking funny I want to talk about Bernie, but I found it very funny with Bloomberg, knowing that he spent $500 million in like YouTube advertisements and commercials that they just shove down your goddamn throat every 3 seconds, man. I mean, the dude spent so much money just to get his ass beat in pretty much every debate. I mean, he got a couple swings in, but I mean, he got the living crap kicked out of him in the debates I saw him in. You know, for someone to run in the Democratic Party that's so much about, like, helping illegal homeless aliens, I don't know, you know, what the fuck ever they're, you know, whatever PC shit they're into this week. You know, a party that's so about helping people and that people are struggling and that rich people should pay more in taxes, rich people should use all the money they get to help these people out, yet you got a fucking Democratic fucking potential candidate on fucking stage spend it. Like, he openly said in an interview that he had spent $500 million and he would spend $1 billion to get the presidency. You could have taken that $1 billion and helped homeless veterans with no legs, helped starving kids, helped illegal immigrants, all the people you're claiming to give a shit about. And you wouldn't have had to spend a dime on advertisement because your actions would have made people go, this dude's actually doing something. You know what I mean? Like, the hypocrisy of these fucking people. They're a joke. They immediately ran out every ethnic person, like, out of the debates, like, right away. Like, just like fuck Booker, fuck Yang, fuck Tulsi. You know what I mean? They fucking ran those motherfuckers out immediately, and they've settled on, again, right? The left hates rich white guys, and I know that's like a basic stupid thing. I know it's a meme. I know it's a very obvious thing that's going on, but it's worth repeating. It's worth saying. If rich white guys are evil and they have too much money, then why is that all the fuck you have to choose from? My mother, I know I'm ranting, but my mother-in-law, ironically enough, is like one of the heads of the Democratic Party organizers here where I live, and even she is like, I don't like it. I don't know who the fuck to vote for. These are all fucking horrible people. It's kind of like you were saying, like it's 2016 all over again, except instead of Hillary, you know, kicking them all out, they're doing it for Biden. Clearly no one likes Biden, just like no one liked Hillary. Everyone liked Bernie, just everyone likes Bernie now. They liked him then. But he could have won in 2016. He could have won back then. He doesn't stand a chance. He doesn't stand a snowball's chance in hell if he fucking gets that fucking candidacy, and the Democratic Party fucking knows it. Biden has a better chance, even though no one likes him either. So they're just screwing him over. I mean, if you've ever needed more proof that the people that you voted into power give no fucking shits about you and how you feel and your life, I mean, this is proof. The Democratic Party is literally tearing themselves apart to give you the candidate that you're supposed to choose from. You know what I mean? No one listens to the people anymore. The federal government is a fucking joke. These people do not care about us. I know it's a big rant. I know I'm ranting. But it's so frustrating. And I feel like so many people in the Democratic Party see it too, and they're either ignorantly quiet about it, or they're fucking running out of the Democratic Party and becoming independent, libertarian, or Republican.
Exactly, dude. So my point on this is exactly yours. That they claim to be the party that cares the most about the minorities, about the disparaged, which, mind you, I think are obviously oversimplified and most of the time just false reporting. But here's the funny thing about how this works. Number one, the DNC claims to be the party of progress and ideals and liberalism and tolerance. They neglect the minority and former servicewoman of Tulsi Gabbard and her really good ideas against warmongering and against global interest. They discard Andrew Yang and his Asian persuasion, the Yang Gang 2020. They ultimately end up with a fake Native American, a Jew in Mike Bloomberg, a Jew in Bernie Sanders, who everyone just thinks is white, and Joe Biden, the whitest person other than maybe Mitt Romney. And then here's what happens. You go to Reddit, and you look at all these Bernie bros losing their mind and becoming racist because they realized minorities vote for things that are familiar and emotionally driven, usually, statistically, not on what is better for them in actual practice. So this is one of the people on Reddit on the Sanders for President Reddit forum. Seriously, why is the black turnout for Bernie so low? How is he not resonating with them? He has been fighting for black American civil rights since he was in his teenage years. He has spoken out about the injustice killings of unarmed black males in his policies aimed to help black communities. I feel like low African American intelligence is a high contributor, as well as just a widespread of anti-Semitism among blacks. So not only did he bring up the whole everyone hates Jews, he also just called them low IQ. I thought that was racist. I thought that the bell curve was racist, right? I thought we couldn't talk about IQ, but when it goes into the Bernie campaign or the Yang Gang, you can't be anything but racist.
Jesus Christ,
And
that's
so,
fucking hysterical.
The meme right here, I'm gonna put it on my camera. The meme right here is a Bernie bro behind a black guy voting for Biden, and he goes, "No, you fucking idiot! You're voting against your own interest. You have to do what we tell you." Like, there's your diversity, bro. There it is. There's your enlightenment. Bill from Thunderdome TV says, "Final dim panel, all old white people." Bill and Long Jong are on D/Blackballed watching live, where you can donate and you can drop some lemons in the chat. You get some money back. It's really cool. It's really weird if you don't know what I'm talking about. So check out .tv/Blackballed. We're also available on patreon.com/Blackballed Podcast, where you can become an exclusive Blackballed Podcast member and get some stuff for as cheap as $1. Thank you, Long John, for the donation. Just got one lemon. I appreciate that, brother. And also, I want to bring that up for a particular reason. We kind of hit on this earlier, but Busted is from a podcast called Decentralize Now. You can find them on at decentralizenowpodcast.com. Is that correct?
That is right. You can get us on decentralizenowpodcast.com. You can find us on our Facebook page, which is just Decentralize Now with an exclamation point behind it. We put up all sorts of memes. I put links to all sorts of shit we're doing. We go on other podcasts like this one. Actually, we've only ever been on this one.
and there's a particular reason why you're on this tonight. So recently, I guested on your podcast because they do have a lot of good episodes. It's a really good mix. Busted is, I'd call, the color commentary, and Chemtrail is like me. He's a partially autistic dweeb that likes politics and theology.
He's smart as fuck.
He is definitely smarter than me, which
he says really smart stuff, and I make fart jokes. It works fucking beautifully. It's great. We've been friends since we were like, fuck, dude, we're both old men now. We've been friends for 15, 16 years now, you know?
That's awesome. And recently I was on their podcast, and we talked about a lot of things. And I'll tell you exactly what we talked about, and I'll give you full disclosure, full context to this. I went on there. I'm religious. They are not. They're not against me because of that. They have differing views. We discussed a little bit of theology with my theological background, and we talked about politics. And one of the biggest topics was my views as a Christian in regards to the state of Israel today and what it has to do with the Bible and the Old Testament and the Jews we hear about back then. We made it clear, I think all three of us at least, one time each, made it clear that we were not discussing individual Jews. We were talking about the Jewish state that is Israel and its government.
Absolutely. No, this was not some sort of like hate mongering. You know, this was literally like basically a history lesson more than anything else. It was literally just talking about the history and past of Judaism and Christianity and how they kind of intertwine, and why in modern society there's still that kind of I guess notion or feeling as a Christian to support the state of Israel. It was nothing hateful. It's probably the most coherent and like legitimate, like just conversation about like an actual topic for the whole show we've ever had. We're goofy people. We joke around a lot, and this was a very serious episode. It was a great episode. I learned a ton because that's not a world that I'm familiar with. my co-host Chemtrail. He's very, very in tune with that part of history or theology, however you want to put it. Anyway, long story short, I'm getting off topic. Good episode. I get it ready. I edit it down. I put it on YouTube. By the way, you can check out the Decentralize Now podcast on YouTube, on Breaker, and on SoundCloud. For some reason, we're still on SoundCloud, even though it's a horrible platform. But we're there for you guys, because we give a shit. I put it up on YouTube. Basically, I have an opportunity to go through this, edit it down, turn it into a video file, send the link to my co-host so it can be posted on other platforms and stuff. And YouTube's just very easy for me to put it out there very quickly. So as soon as I'm done editing it, boom, it's on YouTube. So I did that. I put it up on YouTube. I put it on the Decentralize Now page. Hey guys, there's a new episode out. Check it out. It's a good episode with Pierce from the Blackballed Podcast. It's a fucking dope-ass podcast. You guys check it out. The whole thing, I shared it to groups. I just put it out there. I would guess within like 27 to 30 minutes, it was taken off of YouTube for hate speech. Simply because of the subject matter. Not because we actually said anything hateful.
Yeah, it was taken off completely because we disagreed with policies that exist today and talked about the history of groups of people that I don't, on the podcast, I don't even believe are related, that you can prove they're related. I believe that the Jews of the Old Testament are perhaps entirely distinct from the Jews of today, and that we don't have a history to be able to go back and check bloodline relations. So that being said, it was taken down for hate speech, and immediately after that, my next two videos were copyright striked by Discovery Channel. Discovery, I think, Productions or Incorporation, whatever its proper name is. And I had to fight that. Thankfully, I won the disputes, but nevertheless, a really good episode was immediately shut down. Now, it did bring about some good publicity for the episode.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to act like I didn't, oh my God, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I did a little bit. But still, dude, it's frustrating, and it's scary, and it's really, eye-opening to think that something like that can happen, that someone could, you work so hard on something, they give you a platform to put it out. And I want to say, too, the reason the discussion was so great is because, as you said, you're very religious, and that's not really our bag, but it's a topic we all agree on, that the state of Israel is not this thing to be praised.
Right.
So it was such an interesting discussion, and to think that something as literally harmless as it was could be considered just hate speech because of the people you're talking about, or the people who run the platform in which you've posted it don't agree. It's disheartening, right? I mean, they can just fuck you. You don't matter, kind of. I mean, that's how I felt.
Exactly, dude. And Vil just told me just now on DLive, Google and Apple are removing coronavirus apps and search results that aren't from a, quote, legitimate medical source, end quote. So it's not just something that we're talking about.
What the fuck?
It's not just one thing when it comes to your politics or your views on, foreign aid or foreign investments. It goes, as he says, technocratic control, totally, in regards to speech of all kind, of anything that the government does not want you to look into. So it has nothing to do with just a political ideal. It has nothing to do with an ethnic ideal, religious. It's everything that is taboo according to the eyes of the corporations that rule over us. This sounds like it's an Alex Jones conspiracy tinfoil hat territory, but in all seriousness, this is more and more apparent. It's to the point now where if you go on Amazon, I look for webcams, right? The second thing it recommends are covers for the webcams. No one actually exists anymore without believing that the government is on some fuck shit, whether they're on the left or the right. It all in all is coming down to totalitarian control over people under no guise. There's no protection. Like the what was it? The Patriot Act was enacted after 9/11 under the guise that you would be protected, and we had to check your emails because it was for your sake, because the terrorists use emails, and you're like, okay, that doesn't make any sense, but I'm scared, and a natural, like not a natural, but a cataclysmic thing just happened to New York. I need to make sure that my family's protected. Of course, you can have access to my email. Now they're not even saying that. They're not giving you a reason for doing this. You're like, no, we're just going to start flagging posts because they're not true. It's like, yeah, they're called memes. They're jokes. The Babylon Bee, the Onion have to go on news stations.
How many times have you seen like Facebook fact checker after like an obvious, like it's from Babylon Bee. It's right there. It's a known satire site. I can't tell you how many times I've seen fact checker under that. There was I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there was a picture of Carl Winslow from Family Matters. Yeah. Well, there was a bombing at a football game, back in the early 90s, I think. And it was a police officer that or a security guard rather. He saved a bunch of lives. I don't know the story that great. Okay, if you do, and you know I'm an asshole. I get it. You know it. You get what I'm talking about. Google exists. Yeah. Find it. But it was Carl Winslow, and it said this guy saved more lives at the so and so football game. Fact checker. This is not the man who saved those people. I'm like, dude. Like we all grew up. We all know Family Matters, you know.
Exactly, it's the same thing as like if you said Uncle Phil was Barack Obama's uncle. It's like, no, we know better. But here's the thing. Here's the scary thing. The scary thing about that. Oh yeah, the scary thing about that though, people do. You have boomer-based retards, not based in a good way, but you have boomer retards, and then you have this upcoming wave of the TikTok generation that legitimately just see something on the internet and they're like, oh, this is true. I know it now to be true. White people are racist. America was never great. Okay, white people are racist. America was never great. They don't give a fuck. So it's a great catch-22 because, not for us, but for the technocrats, because they can implement a strategy to say, this is not true. And then you go, okay, well, Facebook said it's not true. So this is the new news station. They found out that the fake news is no longer we ruled the internet with our forums, with our open source, and now they're trying to restrict that. And we used to say that people that did that were communist and bad because it eliminated the ideas of open news, and now we're losing it. And so Long John asks, is Corona serious or not? I believe it's a weapon for population control. I'll say this. My buddy Pakistan
I'm not drinking
Dan,
Corona. No.
There we go. My buddy, I don't drink imports. My buddy Pakistan Dan is a brainchild behind this podcast, a great friend of mine, my best friend, and he's actually about to be on the podcast again Monday. So give a big look out for that, Monday, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. He sent me a video of what appears to be people trying to get out the information from China of the realities of coronavirus. I'll go ahead and say this. As it exists right now, and it's a very, very new, I guess, mutation of what we've had before of COVIDs before. It's a very new mutation of COVID-19. Or this is COVID-19. It's a new mutation of COVID, whatever it was, 17. There is a 2 to 3% jump in mortality rates from the flu, yet way more people have gotten the flu. And still, that number is only 3% of people that get coronavirus die from it. Apparently, about 15% of people that get coronavirus, about 15% of people that get coronavirus are bound to get it again. Yeah, Long John says L strain. Yeah, you're right. And on top of that, it will further mutate. This is one thing that they now have thought it to be transferable from pets to humans and humans to pets. That's a different thing we've never really seen before.
Can I just say, though, when they started throwing dogs and shit out of buildings because they were worried it would carry the coronavirus, who the fuck is the asshole that didn't think spreading blood and bodily fluids all over the street wouldn't spread it quicker? I just want to know that.
No, it's exactly right, and that's why, Busted, we don't like the involvement with third world countries. Yet, they're really cheap in their production and labor costs, so we keep on going over there. It's unreal, and it really is due to humans being the worst bacteria that the Earth has had to deal with. The Earth is shaking back in some M. Night Shyamalan happenings, and I don't believe this to be the end-all be-all for the human race. However, I do believe that as mutations happen in these viruses, it will grow stronger and stronger, and ultimately we will have a plague again. It's bound to happen. We're long overdue for an actual plague, a good old black plague to kind of clear the. I mean, Europe was devastated by that, and we'll be devastated by these things soon. The biggest issue, though, isn't if we can survive the virus right now. The issue is we're learning that we can't survive. Our backbone of finances can't survive in America with this virus, and our livelihoods, our ability to eat, is not able to survive off of this because we're not what's the word? We're not self-servient. We can't grow things. We can't build things. We rely
like
heavily on.
Not self-reliant.
Yeah, self-reliant. We can't rely on ourselves. We have to rely on big corporations that have farms and that have mass-produced foods, and that's not good. That's really not good. It's actually very terrifying that's a thing we're going to have to go through. Is these concrete jungles like New York City are once something happens to New York City, whether their water goes bad or there's a famine, they're fucked. There's no naturally occurring things in New York City. It's just concrete. It's just marketplaces. So once water runs out, people are going to be murdered in their 7-Elevens trying to get water.
We've talked about this kind of on the show before. About how it was a different topic. It was more like how laws of a fucking state are don't affect these people like they do these. Obviously, if you're in a city like New York City and shit breaks out, there'll be a lot of murder. There's gonna be a lot of horrible stuff. Like if that shit really, people killing each other over bottles of water and stuff. I mean, if this really turns into something, I know where I live, I'm good. I'd be one of the last to go. You know what I mean? But it is. I'm getting a little off subject. Concerning the coronavirus, if I can. Fuck, dude. I'm fucking this up. I don't know what's the matter with me. I don't want to interrupt you. If you have more to say, go on. I have a couple things I want to say, but.
Oh no, that's pretty much it. I think overall we're good when it comes to dying from it right now, but we will die maybe because of the consequences that we've instilled in our economy or in our agricultural sense because of viruses like this. That's my opinion on it.
What about these people saying shit like, if I get the coronavirus, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to a MAGA rally. I'm going to a Trump rally. What the fuck is that shit?
Anybody from any political movement, by the way, thank you, Bill, for the lemons on D-Live and Long Jong again. Anybody that tries to commit any form of agricultural terrorism or chemical terrorism like that deserves to be killed publicly. I kind of think North Korea is pretty fucking based in that regard. The one outbreak they had, they executed the guy, and now there's no more coronavirus to worry about.
I mean, it's fucked up, but I mean, like you said, there's no more coronavirus. I mean,
they fixed it. By the way, what up, Tap on Facebook? Tap gives me the proud sign. Thank you, brother. I do appreciate that. Xavier says, "Hello, guys. What's up, my man?" One of our closest regulars. We got Tap on Facebook and Xavier on YouTube. Two of our closest guys. Dustin says he's catching up on all the episodes. Cheers, guys. Absolutely. Now, if you guys didn't hear, I was recently on Busted's podcast called Decentralize Now. He is currently with me tonight, and we're talking about coronavirus. We talked about how our video together on Decentralize Now was blocked for hate speech according to YouTube's beautiful, lovely standards. Now, you can teach
just like
children.
To say, I have a co-host on that podcast. It's just not my. It's not just my dumbass stammering through shit. So,
Yes, Chemtrail is also the co-host of Decentralize Now. You can teach your children to chop their dicks off on YouTube, but you cannot criticize the government.
Dude. We have a fucking. It's 4 parts, but it's a 3-parter. But really, the next episode's all about it too. Like you're saying, like the whole you can teach your kids to chop their dick off on fucking YouTube. ElsaGate, man, look into that ElsaGate shit. It's fucking terrifying. This shit exists.
Absolutely, dude. It does exist, and it was crazy, man. The more I look into these things Alex Jones was saying, the more I'm like, oh, fuck, he was right. He's crazy about it, but he was right. Also, I noticed something about Alex Jones. My buddy Jay pointed this out. He has such pregnant breaths, and I'll explain that with this impersonation. People,
I just
Hillary
want to say
is
earlier in the podcast, earlier in this live stream, you said, tinfoil hat. I just like to make note that it's aluminum foil. It's not tinfoil anymore, and aluminum actually is more of a better conductor than tin. So don't put aluminum on your head, people. I don't know why my computer over here just got so bright.
Aluminum is the way to go. They are literally taking our aluminum away.
Goddamn aluminum Chi-Coms. I just love saying Chi-Coms. I don't. It's so goddamn. They're turning the frogs gay. Fucking. Oh my god. Have you seen those memes? So great.
Oh, I know. I love it. This is bad for. Oh, okay. So Vil is having issues on D Live. Long John, let me know if you're having issues as well. I do think it might just be Vil's because he's had this before. But if it's going in and out on D Live, let me know. Mine's been completely fine when I've been looking at it. But
come on, Bill.
But yeah, I know. Come on.
Also,
guys, if you are podcast lovers, of course, Dustin, one of my guys on Facebook watching right now, is starting his new podcast, Soulless Society Podcast. I believe that's the actual name for it. It's Soulless Podcast or Soulless Society Podcast. He'll be releasing videos soon. So far, so good, brother. Thank you, Long John. Vil is the co-host with Dick Nicarlo on a beautiful show called Thunderdome TV, available on D Live as well as other places. You can always check them out. They're very good guys, very good production quality. Vil, I want to not Vil, Jesus Christ, I'm tired. Busted, I want to jump into this watch together shit that we got going on real quick.
Yeah.
I think that this is fitting for YouTube standards because YouTube likes to marginalize groups and people groups. It's just usually great men. So we're going to suck the dick of YouTube real quick and give an appropriate video. 2017 New Year's resolutions for white guys. I know what you guys are thinking. Pierce, come on. This is 3 years old. Guys, I don't think you understand. White toxic masculinity is still a big problem in today's society, and we really should be more on top of it. So I think this video is what we'd call an oldie but a goodie. It's very important, and the points still stand. All right, guys. Vil, Jesus Christ. Vil's fucking me up. I keep seeing this message. Busted, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do this shit. Let me go ahead and make sure the volume is up for our viewers. Boom.
Ooh, I can't hear it. What the fuck?
Oh, check the volume real quick on the right of the window.
Hold on 1 second.
You are good, my guy.
I'm pretty sure this is a my problem.
There you go. While you're trying to fix it, I'm going to shit talk all these people that are on this video. So this guy right here is the embodiment, and you'll see this with the rest of the people on here. It doesn't get much better, the cast of this. By the way, why are you white people that shit talk white people are the dumbest people to exist? Did you get volume on that one?
No.
It's okay, no worries. Like I said, you got time. This resting tentious face is so telling of your political views. Nobody looks like that on the right. Nobody looks like that on the far right.
Like, it's so true, man. Like, you don't look at this guy and you're like, fucking MAGA.
I know. Yeah, and like I get MAGA's got their own stereotype of like the overweight, toothless redneck in Walmart. However, this is much more annoying. It's like at least the redneck guy he's sweet when he says the N-word. It's like an endearing thing. Not really. But my point being, yes, you can't help the genetic small shoulders that you have. The cashmere sweater could have been you could have made a better choice. This face is annoying. You can't fix this. Like the guy that tries to defend Lizzo, and he's like, if you are defending people that call Lizzo fat, you're not 100% that bitch. You're just 100% bitch. No one talks like that in real life. And if you do...
What's a Lazo?
It's just morbid obesity in the shape of somewhat of a human that sings and twerks on stage. It's not a good sight to see. Our generations have failed. Okay. Tap says giant head. This guy does have like a Leonardo DiCaprio head. Now I love me some DiCaprio, but DiCaprio's got a bobblehead. It's like his face became fat, but his body stayed like in his 20s with Titanic. It's a weird thing. And these people all have this face, and it's Gavin said it perfectly. It's the like we're gonna try this one more time. It's that millennial splaining is the best way to put it. You cannot get through this. This is a brick wall of tolerance and liberalism. It's so bad. Hey Pierce, can you play my song next? FTC for life? Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I can. I'm glad you reminded me, man. I'll play your song after this, brother. We got one of our guys.
Press play on this. I joined it up on. I followed the link on my fucking phone. Fuck the computer. Oh, yep, there we go.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, every single person. Look at this guy, the racially ambiguous guy before this. I think he was like an islander. They all have the same face. But my point, if you're white, and I love how they put him first, just be like, we're establishing that white people feel the same way.
If white people see a black guy or an Asian guy first, they won't click on the link. Let's put a fucking feminine fucking gay guy in the front. That'll fucking draw the Republicans to click on it.
Exactly, man. Yeah, they think it's a PragerU vid. That's why he couldn't get on that door while floating on Titanic, that huge fucking melon of his. Wow, Tap just broke the code. He just broke it. I love it. All right, resolutions for white guys. Listen up, white folks.
It's about to be a new year, and there's a few things we think you could do a little bit better in 2017.
Okay, so already, there's a few things we think you could do a little bit better on. Well, but you're not me, right? And so I'm not allowed to talk about black relations or black issues. So why are you talking about my issues? Do you not think that you should maybe worry about your own kind, about killing yourself 70% of the time? Do you not think that you should stop being 15% of the population that makes up for 70% of the violent crime? Do you not think that you should worry about your own people groups like Malcolm X did? You know, your heroes that you idolize, Black Power. You don't care. You just want to bitch professionally.
They all push this like segregation shit. Like we talked about it on our show. Did you see that video where like the black chick's in a school and she's like, "This is a place, okay, for people of color, for POCs. And when we see this many white people around, okay, we get nervous. So understand, some of us might get nervous. You have the whole campus to go to. This is just our place." That is segregation. When the fuck did segregation become progressive? When fucking millennial black kids started talking about it? What the fuck is that shit?
It fits the narrative. It's like skinny jeans. It only became cool when Soulja Boy put it on. Tab says, mine's broken. I tried to pay for my insurance with my white privilege and it didn't work. Long Jong says, white people are 2% of the world's population and yet made the best conditions to live to date. Interesting thing to say.
It's not wrong. I mean, it's not wrong, dude. Like, I mean, just fucking take a fucking history lesson. It's not fucking racist, you know?
It's not racist at all, and in fact, I think I don't deserve the credit for that. I did not create the modern world, but I do believe when these people say, "No, you're going to hear this later," America was never great. It's been pretty good for your freedoms. It's been pretty good for you being what's considered a human of equal standing with a man. Remember when you were worth less than a three-legged pot? Remember when you couldn't have your voice to be heard in Sharia court unless there was two more of you to count for one human? Remember that? You don't? Okay. You know why?
Yeah, there's a fucking orangey white guy in the White House that's brought black unemployment to like an all-time fucking low, which no Democrat ever fucking did.
Low. Exactly. Really, the idea that you are racist because you're white, number one, is a racist viewpoint. It's like saying all black people are blah, all Asians are this. It's racist. It's a wrong thing to say. You can use stats to provide data for specific instances of this many people tend to do this, but you cannot lump some of these things. Yet, you work at MTV. You are the 1%. And then when you include the world and the economy and their countries and third world countries alike, you are the 1%. Poverty-stricken Americans are still the 1% of the world's moneymaker. It's unbelievable to me that these people can buy weed and have streaming services but complain about being poor. It's like, well, maybe you're just bad fiscally. Maybe your finances are fucked.
How dare these people complain about being poor while smoking weed?
Exactly. Tap says, we do have great jobs, P. Doesn't pay the best, but beats digging ditches, I guess. Well, we'll do that in here, though, so I guess we are all screwed. Exactly. Let's keep going.
Matter isn't the opposite of All Lives Matter?
Oh,
That's my comment.
God. Okay. Yeah, that's a beautiful comment for that. So she says, can we all disagree that Black Lives Matter? Right? Yeah, okay,
Above
yeah.
everyone else's because they went through so much. Yeah.
Okay, and also, I don't even know. I think she's Hispanic. But why are you telling me?
She is so, like, non-descriptive, right?
They do that. They do it on purpose. I love her. What is she? I don't know. It's racist to ask. Well, she is ambiguous. I don't know what she is. So, I don't think she's black. Let's say she's not black.
She's
Why are you
definitely a lesbian.
Oh, for sure.
Look at those glasses.
Yeah. You wear those glasses for one of two reasons. You either like scissoring or you like being jizzed on. So you're either a porn star or a lesbian. There's no in between. So Black Lives Matter. Why can't we all disagree on that? No one's ever said Black lives don't matter in modern history and been able to live to tell the tale on Facebook. No one has said that. I can't think of one person on the right that's ever said Black lives don't matter. People said all lives matter because
all lives include black people.
Yeah, again. What's the point in this? I believe that all lives matter. Well, okay, but you don't believe in Black lives mattering. Well, I do, but you're inherently racist. Okay, so I can't win. You've set this up in a vicious circle. You're inherently racist. No, I'm not.
And
Black lives don't matter. Black lives do matter.
I do like. I'm not trying to defend fucking Black Lives Matter because I think they're a shit organization and I don't think they have any direction. I don't really know what they represent. Like, I don't know what their point is. You know what I mean? But I think like it started out with like good intent, but very quickly turned violent. Very quickly, things went fucking awry, and like this idea of like, okay, that didn't work, you know, and they're still trying to push it as like, you know, Black Lives Matter. Okay, that's fine. Like, why was all lives matter fucking racist? Why were you so offended by that?
I get it. I get both sides. I get that they made up something and then someone turned it into all lives. It was their thing. Okay, but again, more black women in Manhattan abort their babies and keep them. You guys seemingly don't care about the black on black crime that affects you the most, and it's a little bit alarming when the biggest
you can
issues
find the statistics on FBI.com, by the way. I just want to point that out. Like, you can go on like government official sites and find those statistics. None of this is incorrect.
You can also find that when they do bring up issues in the black communities and they surface those on Black Lives Matter pages, it's made up things or things out of proportion, like Trayvon Martin or what was his name that didn't have his hands up? The guy that sold like Lucy's at a gas station and was, trying to plant drugs there to steal some alcohol. It's like you didn't pick good cases for your statement, right?
No, they never picked. It's like none of these people like, oh, the cops shot an unarmed black man, and fuck the police. Like, I'm not defending the police because the police are a bunch of fucking goddamn gang members that shoot anyone and everything, and if your fucking chihuahua runs at them, they'll fear for their life and shoot it in the face. They're pieces of fucking shit. But like, as far as the media goes and what we're talking about, you're right. Like, they never are like, oh my god, an unarmed black man was killed. They don't mention that he was a rapist and he was like out of prison for a fucking week and he had robbed 4 banks before that and he kicked a fucking dog like 3 minutes before they shot him. They don't talk about any of that fucking shit. They just like, they'll show like a picture of them like the one day they were sober, you know what I mean? And then try and play it out like old. They're never on their way to church. They're never like taking a bag of food to a homeless family.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Bill says blacks have told him, quote, but the jobs aren't any good. What's our comments on that? Well, I think that's a very, very privileged thing to say. I don't have a good job. I don't think anybody in my chat right now has what we consider a good job.
I have to work 3 jobs and they all suck dick. Well, one's okay because it's for myself, but it's still like I would rather spend time with my family than go do it. You know what I mean?
I work 2 jobs. I have one free thing that I do where I coach baseball, and then I run a podcast. I have no time for myself or for my loved ones. I try my hardest to fit those things in. I work retail, I work security, and I work on this podcast for pretty much no money. The money that I do make goes right back into the podcast. Again, okay, is having a shit job better than having no job? Yes. I'm not telling you to stop bitching when, I agree that we could all use better jobs, and it's okay to bitch about those things, but to negate the idea that what Trump did for your unemployment rate is nil because you have shitty jobs is like, well, okay, but it's better than no job, right? Isn't it better than that? Well, no, it's not, because the government makes it easier for you to get money for being a piece of shit. The government makes it easier for you to get money if the father leaves the home, which elevates your likelihood of committing crime for blacks and being a school shooter for whites. You get benefited for being a piece of shit in this country.
You absolutely get benefited for being a fucking piece of shit in this fucking country. I've talked about this on the podcast, and I won't go into detail, because if you want to know about it, go to my fucking podcast and listen to the fucking episode about it. But when we had our child, it was very difficult, and I almost lost my wife, and my kid was okay, but there was, we were right down the hall from the emergency center that deals with stuff like that, and it was scary, and obviously, there was a month of our lives we spent in the hospital, and we're not rich people. We're obviously still on the hook for a lot of that money, and we're paying it off, but it's a big blow. Oh fuck, where's it going with this? We're talking
about how apparently it's not okay to have shitty jobs, and it's better to be a piece of shit.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. The bills obviously were very high, I feel like life kind of hit me in the face right there, and I spaced out. The bills are very high and everything like that, and we went to people for help, this is our thing, this is what's going on, we need a little bit of money to help us through this. And total, what was that movie? What was that fucking movie with Denzel Washington where his kid needs a heart transplant?
Oh, John Q.
It was like that exact situation. Like, they were like, well, you both work and make money, so we're not going to help you. They didn't care how much, they took taxes and what the end goal was. They're just like, you're both working people and make an income, so go fuck yourself. My wife literally had somebody in her place of employment, I don't want to say too much, in HR, look at her, and she said she didn't tell her to quit, but she was kind of like, if you didn't work here anymore, you could go get these people to help you. They very heavily laid it on that you should just quit your job, they'll give you money.
Isn't that disgusting, man? It's disgusting to be able to, and I don't blame the person for telling your wife that. I think that she was probably trying to help her, so I don't think she was being nefarious in that. But it's like, why? How do you get a benefit from that? Why are you okay when people that I actually know that are in need try to get government assistance? They don't get shit.
Well, that's my buddy. I pay the taxes that are stolen from me every fucking year. I do that shit because I don't want trouble for my family. That. I'm a family man before I'm a fucking anything else.
Yep.
And I do that shit, and to think I can work these shit jobs, I can pay taxes on them even though I don't want to, and they can take my money and give me a seventh of what I pay in taxes back every fucking year, like it's a goddamn gift or something. I'm supposed to fucking be happy about it. And they'd be like, you guys work really hard and do what you're supposed to. Fuck you. Now,
exactly.
Fucking La Guita over here, she just came over here with her 3 kids and has no skills. So we're going to take your money and give it to her. What the fuck?
Exactly.
I don't want to change this, fuck it, let's change the subject. Who gives a shit? I'm terrified to think of my kid going to a public school, especially where I live. I know this sounds fucked up, but there's so many. I got a couple things to say right here. There's so many kids in these schools that are Latina, Mexican, and they don't speak English. And they don't teach the kids, like the parents and everything. They don't speak English either, so they don't teach the kids to speak English. So the classes are predominantly taught in Spanish. So, like, my kid's supposed to be a fucking retard, or, like, thought, like, oh, you're not doing something right because your kid's not picking up what's going on around them. Well, they're not speaking English. Like, why is my kid getting left behind? I was born in this country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm from here. Exactly. God damn it. And, like, I'm supposed to just, like, oh, that's fine. As long as the other people that were born in a different place get benefits over me, because, like, I mean, doesn't that make this a shitty place to live for everyone else? Doesn't this make this just like the place they came from, because we're overlooked and thought as, like, we're white people, so go fuck yourself? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I know I said, like, a couple different things there, but...
No, it's absolutely right, and it's a vicious cycle that needs to be eradicated. You know, as Tucker Carlson said on his show once, it got him into a lot of trouble. He said, capitalism and our system right now, and he meant our system as a whole, as a broad scale, and immigration and our economics, and every system and every form, may be the best, you know, quote unquote, that we have so far. But if that system throws my kids into tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt for medical bills or for college payments, I want to burn that system down. And ultimately, man, there's no this is better, this is a better thing, whatever. We need to eradicate the systems we have that are unjust and immoral. We need to get rid of them. We need to try politicians and try these globalists and these technocrats for their treason against the people of their countries, for the absolute fraudulent stuff that they bring up, they put into our offices, into our establishments, into our policies, and start over. Just completely collapse this thing. I slowly get more and more aware of how brilliant Fight Club was when they just wanted to blow up credit card companies and start at absolute zero. Just get rid of it. Fuck them. Close the border. Focus on the nation, your nation, whatever nation that is. Fix your economy and start there. Maybe then we can work for other countries in their interest. But for right now, we should certainly work on ours, because our people should matter the most. Your family, busted, matters the most because it's your family. And I would not take disrespect for that if I needed help. But you're like, look, dude, I'd help you, but my kid needs this and he's in dire need of this. Duh, no shit, dude. Go help your fucking kid first.
Right?
Why is it not the same for our nation? Because our nation is full of these fuckwads that sit on these platforms, get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit in an episode in a room, being a minority or being sexually ambiguous and androgynous, complaining about how America was never great on MTV. The irony, right? The irony. We work, enslave, and die so that you can criticize us for bleeding on the floor.
I always like when they like they're trying to take us back to the 1950s. They're trying to take us back to the 1960s. And like, you're the one looking at all the like racial shit tied with the 50s and 60s. The economy was great. Yep.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And also let's talk about how well minorities were for themselves as a group with blacks. Before civil rights, blacks had less divorce rates, had more kids, and were able to provide for more kids, given that even in the system that didn't deem them as free as a white person. Again, not saying we should go back to that. I'm saying that in that period of what people claim to be was the most horrid times for blacks, they succeeded and prospered. It's like, well, I want you to succeed and prosper. I don't want to do it under the guise of you not being of equal value. But there's something to be said for homogenous societies and how they worked better separate. The black community was, in all regards, separated, and they succeeded together because they worked together. The white communities did the same. Now, if we could do that as a nation in a diverse melting pot, cool. Either way, whether we're homogenous society or melting pot.
Like a coexistent segregation. The white community has their shit, the black community has their shit.
Yeah, so essentially,
I completely misunderstand what you were saying.
No, you're right. So they lived in a coexistence. They were in the same country. They just did things separately. it benefited both groups, and sometimes, there was obviously bad shit that happened in regards to the minorities. That's what always happens in a democracy. The minority of the vote gets the shit into the stick. So I liked Malcolm X's approach and Louis Farrakhan's modern approach to segregating, because it benefits their people. It's like, well, I want Nigeria to be the best Nigeria. I want Mexico to be the best Mexico. I want America to obviously be the best America. How that happens, I don't really care at this point. I just want it to be the best, and I want it to protect its people, protect its borders.
Well, some liberal asshole is going to come along and be like, but America is made up of immigrants. How can you say make America great if it's not?
America was made up of immigrants from the western part of Europe. It was made up of immigrants from white parts of Europe. Those that were not were usually slaves or at the very highest sharecroppers. So you're right. It was made up of immigrants because no one was native here except for the Native Americans. Nevertheless,
can you really call them Native Americans? Because America is named after America of Vespucci.
Exactly. You are right. They were just natives. So I don't know, man. It's a complicated thing when it comes to diversity and democracy. I don't think the two go hand in hand inherently, and I think that it has shown to fuck up America, fuck up its peoples in all regards, while we see modern diversity with our attempts at sustaining democracy. It's all fucked. This is a 1.5 minute video, and we've been 20 seconds deep in this. Let's go ahead and finish this up real quick.
Bro, I'm so sorry, I forgot about the video.
No, you're good, dude. I did it too. Let's go ahead and load this back up.
Hold on, let me pull it back. Hold on, I got to pull my phone up. Hold on.
Okay, you're good. Let me know.
There we go. Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I got you.
Sweet.
Instead of all lives matter, Black lives just matter. There's no need to overcomplicate it.
Also, Blue Lives Matter isn't a thing.
No, Blue Lives Matter is not a thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Blue Lives Matter is not a thing. I agree with that 100%. Fuck Blue Lives Matter. Fuck police.
Hey, do me a favor. Turn down the volume on your watch together a little bit. I think I'm hearing it echo.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, I got it down now.
Sweet.
Stop bragging about what?
Being woke. I would like to say something. I want to go back to this guy. I hate this guy's face real quick, but let me go back to this guy.
It's a great stopping point. I mean, like,
right.
What an embodiment of what this guy is.
Exactly.
In this face right now.
This white dude looks like a mix of Ferris Bueller and his best friend put together. What was his best friend's name on Ferris Bueller?
Fuck.
I think you're right. Something.
Yeah, not Carson, not Casey. Cal? Was it? No, not Cal.
Maybe Cal. I don't know. Fuck, it's gonna bother me.
Cal. Fuck. I'll think of it. Remember when the internet didn't exist and you just had to like, oh fuck, what is that? And 4 days later, you just didn't know.
I believe that's what most suicides were about before the internet. I think it was just like somebody was driven to insanity trying to remember this one radio show that came on once
God
ever.
Damn it, what was that movie? Ah!
I need to know. Oh, Bill says Cameron. Cameron was his name. Cameron. Thank you, Tap. Thank you, Bill.
That's funny as fuck, dude.
Yeah, so Bill just pointed this out too, and this is what I was gonna say. This Cameron Ferris Bueller look like bastard fucking son is saying,
Cameron. Hey,
he's saying drop the woke card, white people, buddy. I've never claimed to be woke. You have claimed to be woke by virtue signaling and calling yourself a self-hating white person on a video shit-talking white people. Could you be less self-aware that the idea of you being on an MTV skit about how shitty white people are as a white person is you virtue signaling that you're woke? This is not me. I've never been like, as a eco-fascist and a far-right ideology, I'd like to say, no, this is you. You do that. I don't say woke, and I don't want to say woke because your idea of woke is liking Lemonade, the album by Beyonce, and twerking, and considering multicultural crimes to be
I gotta
progress
call you
and
out
success.
for knowing that that's an album by Beyonce. I didn't know that.
And that is in part due
Apparently
to
more
my.
woke than you.
It's hard to not know about Beyonce when you're a miscegenator like me, a race mixer like me, the abhorrent sinner that I am. So. Bryce CJ said,
do you think Jay-Z ever said to her, "Bitch, you know how many problems I have? You ain't one of them."
Dude, there'd be no problem. You know what? No, I'd pick Rihanna still over Beyonce.
What?
Yeah, Rihanna's just way hotter than Beyonce to me.
They both look like shit. What was the other girl in fucking Destiny's Child?
Her sister Solange.
Was that who it was with the fucking shorter hair?
Solange.
She always had the shorter hair.
I think that was her sister. Yeah.
Was that her sister? Holy fuck, that chick was hot as shit, dude. Fuck Beyonce, dude. That girl's.
Oh, you're right.
Oh my god.
You're right. I've never been a Beyonce fan when it comes to attraction. I've been
not at all,
been a
dude.
Rihanna
I
fan.
can't fucking. I don't know her fucking name, but god damn, dude, the chick was smoking. I can remember being like fucking like. When did that song come out? When was Destiny's Child popular? When I was like 12 or 13 and was like, oh,
Early
my
2000s.
dick does something. And I was like, holy shit.
I'm so woke. I like black pussy. So what was I gonna say? Oh, my first wet driver was Rihanna, and I didn't even know what sex was. I had a dream that, and I remember this because I thought I was dying. There was no sex talk in my mind. Some skateboarders, when I was at a skate park once, tried to explain it to me. I don't know why, and I imagined what they were saying.
The worst place to learn about like sex.
Right. Dude, my mom slapped the fuck out of me that day because I learned the S word, right? The S word. I learned shit. And I was like, what does that mean? You guys keep saying it. And they go, oh, it just means like crap, but it's like more intense. I was like, oh, that's edgy. So I was in the car with my mom. She's like, hey, how did skateboarding go? I was like, oh, I feel like shit. And then she just slapped the fuck out of me. And I was like, what happened? She goes, you can't. Why did you say that? I was like, I feel like shit because my friends over there told me that shit was just a heavier version of like crap. And I feel like crap, but I feel heavier than crap. So I feel like shit. She's like, what was it gonna? Oh, yeah. So my wet dream. I didn't know about sex. My idea of sex from the skate park was I touched my penis to a girl and we sweated on each other because they said there was like liquids involved. And I was like, yeah. So you just sweat on them. And that's
we
it.
sweated on each other.
And so I was like, man, I can't hug a girl. I'm sweaty or else I get her. And so I had a wet dream, and my wet dream was I was on my dining room table of my parents' house, and Rihanna was under me with her legs completely in a V, just spread open, and I just was sweating on her profusely, really bad. I mean, I'm talking pouring sweat, like a Gatorade commercial workout with Peyton Manning. I'm just pouring red, and I wake up to my first shot into the real world, my first ejaculation, and I was like, I broke something, like I just peed myself, but it's not pee. And so like, Mom, I have testicular cancer. I'm gonna die. So once I explained the story to her, I was like, yeah, I just woke up and I like peed, but it wasn't pee. My mom was like, just stop, you're fine. I was like, okay. And that's what set me on the trail that I am today as a miscegenator, as a race mixer. CJ says, I love white people. This is our resident black for the podcast. He says, CJ says, I love white people. Y'all have the best weed. Probably true. But Bernie Sanders
we
wants
do have good weed. I mean,
people to
that's very accurate.
Absolutely.
Like what I saw I saw this video online earlier, and it was these people working out, right? And they were working out with bungee cords. So they're spinning around, and they would jump in the air and bungee way up and come back down, and they're doing like these fake ass fucking like push-ups because they're attached to a bungee cord. And how can you really say you're doing a push-up if you're attached to a fucking bungee cord?
Exactly. Someone called that cheating.
I saw the video and I was like, this is why black people make fucking fun of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is some white ass shit right here.
Dude, I thought when I was a kid I had this idea of making it, because my mom had just got P90X, I was in the pool one day. I swam for my I think it was middle school and a little bit of high school. I swam for a team. And I remember being in the pool one day.
Did you shave your fucking legs?
No, I never did that. I was
totally
never that gay. I didn't. I was never that gay. I promise. I remember being in the shallow end and having my hands on the bottom of the pool bed, right, the bottom of it. My legs were up, and I was like, "Ooh, this is like doing a crunch," but I don't feel any pain. And I remember doing that for just a little bit. And when I got out, my abs were still sore. I was like, "Oh, here's what I'm gonna do." I was already like 1% Jewish for sure. I was like, "I'm gonna make a fitness DVD of ab workouts in the pool, so you don't feel it, but you get the same results." And I was like, "This is gonna make millions." That was my idea back then, and now I'm working retail, making $11 an hour. So it didn't work out. Bill asked if my mom cleaned up my binky. No, she did not. She called it a tallywhacker, not a binky back in the day. Never heard of binky.
Interesting.
Tallywhacker. Yeah. I thought that was the professional name for a penis because my mom was she was like an EMT. I was like, oh, tallywhacker. So I used to refer to that in my like elementary science classes. Like, oh, the tallywhacker. They're like, don't. What are you doing? CJ says that the girl with short hair from was it TLC? Kelly Rowland.
Yeah, dude, she looks like a fucking man now. What the fuck happened?
Oh no, let's find out. I want to go on Kelly Rowland. Do this.
I just seen a fucking like picture of her like wearing some sort of like really short like leather fucking get up and like she looks fucking like that chick could beat the fucking shit out of me, dude.
Let me see. This is her back in the day.
I could beat up.
Let me see. Okay, Kelly Rowland.
Yeah, go to her Wikipedia page and look at the fucking picture on the right. That chick's fucking goddamn like. I mean, I like big hips and shit, but like, goddamn, dude, like that chick could fucking crush a watermelon. She could crush a fucking tire. We still got to get through this video, bro.
Oh, I know. Damn. You know what though? I'm not upset about it. I'm a fan of the thickness. I'm down with the thickness as
Yo, you ever seen fucking you ever seen Black Jeopardy with fucking Tom Hanks?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, a white girl can do this for you. What? Not a goddamn thing. That is the truth.
Exactly, dude. All right, we are on the woke section of this resolutions for white guys. Look at that stupid face. Learn my man. Yeah. That's why you're not the boss of MTV. A man is. Your boss that apparently doesn't pay you equally is having you sit in front of a camera pretending that you have some sort of power to say that. Stop doing mansplaining. Well, you could stop first by maybe cutting the female splaining. You could stop trying to do that. You could be quiet. Oh, that's mansplaining. Okay. We all explain things to people. If you're wrong about something, I'm going to be like, hey, you're wrong about it. The issue with women is that they can't take criticism. They're like, hey, I read that that Oprah is a devout Christian. It's like, no, she's actually like a pantheist. She doesn't believe that there's one God. She believes everything's God. Why do you have to mansplain? Because you're wrong. You're saying misinformation and you're wrong. So why do I have to just sit here and be like...
If a man explains something, it's mansplaining as fucking retarded. Like, my wife does that fucking shit, dude. Like, one thing that's always pissed me off about women, as long as I fucking can remember, is like, they can tell the difference between 12 different types of yellow, but like, they can't fucking plug a red, yellow, and white fucking cord into the back of a fucking VCR and a TV. I just showed my age a little bit, but still... You know what I mean?
That's amazing. That's such a good insight too. They're like, no, that's more of like an orphan yellow. Who the fuck cares about that? Your knowledge is dumb. My knowledge is dumb too. I'm like, hey, did you know that when Tony Hawk first had to get the soundtrack rights for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, he went to ask to pay Rage Against the Machine, but then they were like, no, we're just gonna do it for free. We really like what you're doing.
What? And, the soundtrack and then they're gonna charge $300 for a ticket now? Those fucking douchers.
Exactly, dude.
That's a really cool bit of information. I didn't know that, and I love it.
See, our info is productive. Theirs is like, when I was watching Snap,
dude,
there was this crazy thing. Oh my god!
My wife. Every time my wife has a fucking friend come over, I have very limited friends, and when they come over or we hang out, she's not around because I respect her.
Right.
But when she comes over, like, we're all gonna do. We're gonna hang out at the house. I'm like, I at least take my friends in the garage. We drink around my fucking saw, my shitty workbench I made, and my fuck. Anyway, they come over, and they fucking start. They don't even have to be like drinking or doing anything. Like, they immediately are like, "Have you seen Kelly in 3 years? She's gotten fat." Oh my god! And like, my wife's not a basic bitch. I don't mean to sound her like that, but like, it's like, it doesn't matter the chick. They instantly start talking about like other people they knew like growing up or used to be friends with and shit. Like, it's fucking horseshit. They don't have anything like interesting to say. Like, they don't talk politics. They don't fucking talk like cosmic shit. They're not like, "Oh, why do you think we exist? How big do you think the universe is?" No, it's just useless. Fucking like, it's basically like, how's the weather today? Crazy weather we're having.
You know
like,
what?
It's completely pointless. Like, who cares what these people that don't exist in your life anymore are doing?
That's a really good point. Here, okay, so real quick, I have a point, but I want to read these comments first because they're fucking hilarious. Tab says she's the boss at a racetrack. DJ says she's a boss in the kitchen. Zach Jackson says, "Hey, what's up, Zach? Welcome, Zach. Zach is from Perspective Mindset Podcast. He's going to be doing a collaboration with us soon." Vil has some good insight. All of this apparent division is actually to create a monolith voting block.
I like to say real quick too, like, if you guys have podcast, like, go to the Decentralize Now podcast page and like totally like put a link to your podcast and shit there. Like, I'll go watch it. I'll go fucking watch it. Like, give my fucking shit a like. I'll give you guys a like. Like, I'll help you guys out. Help me out too. Like, I don't have millions of followers. You know what I'm saying?
They do have a very good page, though, a very active page on Facebook, and also with our buddies.
We do have a lot of people. We got a lot of people coming in for the memes and shit like that.
Yeah, with our buddies over at Lightning City Central as well. They are helping podcasts get off the ground and media, from songs to podcasts to everything, get off the ground, get more real viewerships, not bot accounts, but actual followers. Decentralize will also do that. They'll help you out with that. Tap says, "I heard she's a sandwich samurai." Long John says, "Women shouldn't be involved in politics." Randy says, "Pierce, what's up, brother? Thank you for coming in." Now, here's a funny thing that when you were talking about that, I thought when you look at the women and their very dull, mindless conversations, and you look at men, and yeah, we do have funny things like, one time I farted and it sounded like it was the letter Z. I heard like zzz. It was insane how my asshole did that. There's also like in-depth conversations, like we have like book readings, and we have like, me and Bedlam were on a podcast where we talked about harassment architecture and the destruction of this capitalistic society. We had a lot of in-depth conversation. I'll have these insane political talks with people of differing minds, or even theological talks like with you and with Chemtrail. I think that's why women are so easy and so quick to turn on their friend. The second they're not there, did you hear that Lindsay got an abortion? Oh my god!
Yeah, what the fuck is that shit, dude? What the fuck is that shit?
It's because there's not any edifying, let's say, enlightening or strengthening talk to be able to like work and wrestle with your own self to be introspective. I'll call you an asshole or a
faggot to your face, like joking around and shit.
Yes.
But like, I'm not gonna like be nice to you and wait till you leave and be like, that guy's a faggot. That's exactly what women
do. That's being a faggot.
That's exactly
if you call someone a faggot behind their back, you're being a faggot. That's exactly what they do. Like, oh my god, so good to see you. Oh my god, your child's so beautiful. What a cute little baby. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Yep. And as soon as they leave, they're like, what an ugly ass little bitch kid. Look like Baby Yoda, and they're not the cute one. Oh my. No, that's the thing, dude. There's not any enlightening conversation to be introspective about and to work on yourself with. It's all just mindless gossip. It's just it's self-gratifying, but in a very carnal, in a very short-term way. It's like, if I shit talk this person for 5 seconds, I'll feel better about myself.
Yeah.
My friends will all laugh. But then they go home and they subconsciously know that now that they're home and all the other friends, Rebecca and Lindsay, are all over there, they're doing the same shit about her. Now that she's not, they're talking her down. They're trying to raise themselves up.
You know, it's
No
funny too. It's
glorification.
funny too because we talked about this on the podcast on the podcast that got fucking banned. You know, like that. Well, we started kind of this podcast with it. Even, you know, that attack on masculinity and shit. Men getting together is always seen as negative. You know.
Yeah, taboo.
They really try and create a society where men don't bring each other up and support each other. You know, it's seen as toxic. That's a toxic masculinity when men get together and say, "Hey, man, that looks great. Hey, man,
Yes.
well, I enjoy hanging out with you." That's like, what is that, gay? Like, it's weird. You know, like they try and demonize that fucking shit. But like, women live that every day. You know, and they're not even nice to each other. What the fuck?
Exactly, man. Well, here's the detriment to a world that negates masculinity as a viable thing, as a living thing that should be prosperous. We used to have roundtable discussions that started revolutions to change society, to reform society, the church, the government, the politics, the theology. We used to have philosophical, in-depth conversations that ask, what is the existence of man? How do I decode the genome? What is going on?
That toxic notion that men are violent. Violent men stop tyranny. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely,
violent
man.
men that take action stop bad things from happening. You know, this notion that it's bad for men to be masculine. It's just fucking retarded. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
With the death of masculinity comes the death of society, not because we are the sole proprietary thing that began society. Obviously, we do need women. They are a central and intricate part of this existence. But you forbade us from being able to collaborate with each other, from being able to be edified by each other. And we resort to, as Gavin says, strip clubs. We resort to debauchery. We resort to self-infliction, not finding out that we should be selfless and work to fix the world, to fix ourselves.
I don't know that I necessarily believe that it's I don't know, like, you know, resorting to like a strip club and shit like that. I don't know that I necessarily believe that like it's so bad that we're resorting to strip clubs. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can say resort to strip club.
The reason I say that is kind of based off of a joke that Gavin from Vice Media and from Rebel Media and a few other things said one time in a speech when Gloria Stein, I think it was Stein, when Gloria Stein labeled fraternal organizations as sexist in the 80s, we stopped being able to sit together at a bar or sit together at a house or at a Mason Lodge or a Moose Lodge and have these discussions to ourselves. And we then had to go to a place where a female was present, but they didn't mind our in-depth conversations, and those things became strip clubs. He says it as a joke. I think that the tangibility of that argument is real in the sense of we resort to places that are fake or that try to give us the happy and satisfied. The same thing happens in the book by Pirzig of Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, right? So just because there's a building set for you doesn't mean it's whatever you think it is. It doesn't mean it's a church because it looks like a church and has gables or a cross. Church is what is inside of that place and occurring. The university is not a place where people sit down at a desk. It is what's going on in that university, what's being taught, and minds being molded that defines that. So you may have a congregation of people at a certain place built for men, right? Apparently to help men join up and have these collaborative ideas going to a strip club. But in reality, the talk there is dead because men there are dead. We've lost our availability to be able to be thought-provoking and care about society and the world because anything we speak up about is mansplaining or toxic or a detriment to society. So then we just slowly fade away. We become mindless people living mindless lives away from each other or together. It's in debauchery.
just random thought experiment. Do you think that notion? Do you think that that's being pushed so that men come together? Because I find myself a loner, through most of my life. But I find that this attack on masculinity, this kind of push that men shouldn't be masculine, I find that that argument actually brings me into a lot of things where I'm defending it. You know what I mean? Is it a reverse psychology kind of thing, do you think?
So what are you defending? I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand.
I don't know, man. I'm a little drunk, dude. I don't know.
No, you're good. I think that Ville's got a point that kind of lines up with that. He went back a few comments ago. He said that this is all being perpetuated to create more division and more voting division.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. What was his name?
Ville from Thunderdome.
Bill, you're the shit, dude. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it's dangerous, man. And the scariest thing about it is it's all for an agenda. But with that agenda, it strips away the backbone of society. It strips away the vital nutrients that make up a cohesive body of people. Men that have minds that create Renaissance and Enlightenment ideas. Men that have minds to say, I'm going to die for my country, for my people, for my God, for my wife, to make sure that they have freedoms to be able to hold to forever, even when I'm gone, even if I die for that. The idea of the Ubermensch, the person that tells the truth, lives selflessly, and dies for the good of those people, goes away the second you say, that's toxic. Why do you have to be in charge of all those people? Bitch, because I'm designed that way. Call it evolution, call it God or Mother Nature. It fucking is the truth.
Yo, man, does any woman look for a man that's a beta? Does any woman go out there and go, I want a subservient little bitch that's just going to concave to whatever I say and tell him to do? Does any woman want that? No, because they become lesbians. No woman wants that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like they're trying to fucking tear down society with this, like, the transgender shit. What the fuck is that? I'm 8 years old and I feel like a girl. Well, that's cool. When you turn like fucking like 15, 16, 17, 18, you can figure out those feelings. But right now, you know what I mean? Like, they're pushing that shit. They're pushing. Do you remember the South Park episode where all the men become what's the term? Straight but like cool with like gay shit. What the fuck? Metrosexual. All the guys become metrosexual. Do you remember that episode?
So you're gonna hate me, but I've only seen one episode of South Park.
No, I don't hate you for that. I don't like your religious shit way more than I don't like that you've seen
there we go.
One episode of South Park. But there's an episode where all the men become metrosexual and they start worrying about how their hair looks and they start dressing nice. You know, they start like, hey girl, like they start talking like that and shit. Like the kids in school were all like angry, you know, I'm gayer than you. No, I'm way more gay. Like it's like totally fucking dumb shit. Anyway, a bunch of shit catches on fire in South Park and they look to the men to like put out the fire and they're like, oh my god, I can't mess up my hair. Oh my god, my nails. You know, shit like that. It's South Park, you know, it's funny, but it holds true, man. And that's an old episode, but that's exactly what they're doing to society. It's exactly what they're doing to us.
Yeah, let me conclude my thought on this section by making this very clear to anybody that actually cares to go back to this episode one day when this shit has been publicized that we are women haters and xenophobes, homophobes, all that jazz. The innate desire for men is to be in charge of certain things, not from some Marxist power dynamic, but because it is our life responsibility, is the thing that drives us to make sure that we take care of you. Because women, because children, both of you out there, orphans, single mothers, widows, you name it, it is something that we cannot help but to want to protect you at all costs, because we find you to be above the idea of supernatural. You are miraculous things that keep us going and living. When I look at this today, this is the gayest thing I'll ever say. Today, I had to coach a doubleheader. One of the kids on my team is a little bit slow. He's a little bit mentally slow. We were beating this team really bad.
He's not subscribed to this podcast, is he?
No, he's not.
Okay, good.
I don't even think he knows what a podcast is. We were beating a team pretty bad, and we were going to put him into pitch. He's a lefty like me. And we're warming up, and he was smiling ear to ear because I was helping him on his pitching. Dude, this kid's he's in 7th grade. He's our middle school team. The kid's entire day, maybe week, was made, and maybe his life impacted, not because of me, because I don't matter that much at all, but because somebody, one man in his life is helping him do something that he wants to do. He's being built up by a central figure in his life, even if it's for a month or 2 months, however long his season lasts. He's getting help and learning how to do something. He's using his hands because another man that's been there before him is teaching him something, and that made my entire week worth it. I've had a stressful week. I've had a lot of shit to do, but I live off of being able to know that these guys, whether they remember my name or not, when I'm dead, when I'm gone, have been helped and have been benefited from my existence. It doesn't matter what my winning record is, because I don't care about that. I care about the establishment of character and of discipline in this kid's life and these kids' lives to grow them into being men that one day help those same people that are disadvantaged, and not in some social justice sense where I get woke points, but because
Dude,
this woman right here,
it has nothing to do with being a man. That's just like a good quality to being a human.
You're right, man. But this woman right here that I look at, that I accidentally scratch her eye one day when I'm tickling her, fighting with her, and I almost cry because of the idea of hurting somebody that I would die for, is why I exist. Because I'm doing hard jobs, about to do harder jobs and signing contracts to slave my life away to make sure that she has what she needs to be provided for as a provisionary thing. And then hopefully my kid one day will look at me with ear-to-ear smiles, knowing that his dad gives so much of a fuck about him, he goes out of his way, out of being miserably tired from putting bread on the table, to be loved and to be grown and raised. And not just given money to go take lessons, but to have hand in hand help and growth and structure. And this wife knows that I don't just say that I love her and post a filtered photo on Instagram for people to see how woke we are together at a rally, but that we're building a house and that I'm the person making sure that this house doesn't fall down and collapse. These things are innate in us, and this is why masculinity is important, because it is the backbone of civilization. It does protect the children and grow them to be good men and women. It does establish that woman is protected and provided for so that she can be the nurturing caretaker. It exists for a fucking reason, and you try to take that away under the guise of tolerance and progressivism, and you just lose the very thing that made these people so great in the first place.
I mean, there totally is, like a hunter-gatherer thing to us. We've evolved very fast, but evolution very notoriously takes a long time to happen. So we're very close to the time where we were basically, monkeys, orangutans, Neanderthals, well, the Cre-Magnon men weren't Neanderthals, but they're definitely interbred. That's another discussion. But we're not very far from living in caves and throwing rocks at each other and shit. When we have all this stuff thrown at us, we have all this, technology and society trying to just do all these abstract things, and it's just we haven't evolved to a point to we haven't evolved to the point of where society is trying to push us to go. And to think that for some reason that men are men and women are women, women should take care of the child and men should work and provide, to think that that's something to demonize is really something that's going to just collapse everything, I personally think. And I live in a house where I don't make enough money to where my wife can just stay home and provide for our child, and she wants that. and I want to provide that for her. And it's weird to think that we live in a society where someone would demonize her for wanting to stay home with our child, or that I would want to be so successful that she didn't have to work. It's just so abstract and weird to me. We haven't evolved that much, you know? It's just weird to be demonizing it, I guess.
No, I completely understand that, man. And I think it's the classic line that I've said before, that someone greater than I has said it even later than this. If you look at the line of thought with liberalism, it tears shit down because it says it's evil, but then it has no solution or anything to build back up.
Yes. Am I being? I'm not being obnoxious, am I?
No, not at all. But but it's important, right? When you tear something down, when the reformers risked their lives to tear away the monstrosity that became the Catholic Church, which was at the time Eastern Orthodox will disagree with this, but it was at the time the only church. They risked their livelihoods, they risked their families, they risked everything because they knew that it mattered, but it needed to be. So they had a solution at the end game, right? They didn't just burn the cathedral and go, fuck it, that's it, we did it. No, what comes after that? We need something after that. Are you going to fix it, or are you going to discard it and put something else in its place? And they had that in mind. What we have now are people that like to burn these flags, tear down these statues, and instead of even putting up an effigy to help us out, to give us the illusion that they're trying to help us, they just keep it in rubble and don't put anything up in its place. You've torn down masculinity. You've defied God. You did everything that you said you were going to do. What's the solution now? What then do we do? Where is your God now? And I mean God in this meta sense. I don't mean him in
the state. God is the state. God is in the state.
Yes. And that state is on fire. So what do we do? Where's your answer? They have no answer. Masculinity is dead. So what is the next thing? There's nothing. There's nothing but destruction and chaos. We need the order back. And guys, this isn't just something that we can bitch and complain about. You have a responsibility, and it's innate in you. And your life will matter when you don't live for self. You do live to be the best you can be. The moment I had my child, somebody else.
Like I've been depressed to no ends. I've lived not a great life. I'm not gonna sit here and I've had a lot of fun. I'm not gonna say it wasn't fun. I'm just saying the things I was doing to have fun at the time were nothing I'm proud of in most situations. Mm-hmm. And just every ounce of regret, every being of my soul that ever thought like I'm a mistake, that all faded away. And I never wanted kids, but when I had my kid, I'm not trying to tell people go out and have a kid just for the fuck of it, it's going to fix your problems. It worked that way for me, but it may not for you, so I don't recommend it, but like you said, just not living for self, having something else there. When my kid walks up and gives me a hug, if the entire world was burning, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Every ounce of regret and sadness melted away the very first time I held that kid in my hands.
Fucking beautiful, man.
There's a big thing for not living for self. And I think something like that started making me more empathetic. I think, especially with the podcast, I do put on a little bit of a persona. I'm always the angry asshole kind of guy. But I have become more empathetic to people and things around me. So I also wanted to know that being more empathetic, when I say the state of Israel is a piece of shit, I mean that.
Absolutely. It all comes back to Israel. No, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful insight, because I can't speak yet of having a child, and Long John says it great. Stand up, brother. Stand against the dark altogether. Tap says, get respect, give respect. It's a simple solution to bullshit problems.
Yep.
Take your nuts out of your wife's purse and be a man, for God's sake. That's beautiful, Tap. That's fucking beautiful. Yeah, man, it's a dying world. You have the responsibility not to bitch and moan just on Facebook. We all like that. We all love that. You know this. You've seen my post. My point, though, is there's action behind it. I talk a lot with guys around my age and either my shop or the kids that I coach that are in the high school, and they have a lot of these issues with women, as we all do. And one thing I always remind them is, look, man, and it's the whole speck and log parable, right? But it all comes back to this. Yes, they may be absolute gods, but are you the guy that's worthy of having a good girl yet? Maybe not. So get your shit together. Are you the guy that is elevating yourself to be the best husband or father later on down the road? So work on that. You need to establish that. You need to be a man of selflessness.
Be the person that the woman you want is looking for, right?
Absolutely, man. 100%. Be the person that your kid can rely on, can depend on. Be the person that deserves that hug from your kid. That's why your kid loves you so much. It's because you fucking deserve it, man.
Dude, I just, oh my God. Like I said before, like, I burned the planet to the ground for that kid. Like, no one better ever fuck with my family.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Dude, you know what? Honestly, we don't even need this MTV shit today. We don't need it. I think this is a much better thing. There was a time and place to bitch and moan.
We tried so hard. We tried.
They can't take us tonight. They can't capture us tonight. Dude, it's been a fucking great episode.
It's been a lot of fun. Man. I'm new to this live stuff. This is different.
It's a whole different ball game. It's every time I do an audio podcast that's not live, I feel like I'm completely new again. It always fucks with me. It's a whole different atmosphere, but I do like it, guys.
It's that notion of being watched. It's the notion that, like, what you're doing in the moment is being ridiculed and judged by people, and people know what's happening. When you record and you have that option of editing, if something happens, if you run on and on for 20 minutes while you're trying to play a video clip, you can edit it down to be coherent.
Yep.
And there's something, I think it's a little different doing the live thing. I like it. I've tried to be true to myself and not censor myself too much, but I can't say that I haven't done that completely. But I feel like I do that less when we record, because there's always that notion in the back of my mind, like, I can remove this, even though 9.9% of the time I don't.
Right. Exactly. Zach says, sometimes we are the person that we're looking for, but they're so addicted to the toxicity. That's a very good point. And I'd like to say this. For the most part, there's a really good message in the Old Testament of this, when the prophets try to go and preach actually there's a New Testament too. Essentially, when the prophets go and try to speak the truth, right, in this story, when it does not fall upon ears that will listen, the Lord commands them to dust their feet off and get out of that town. So for the most part,
you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So you might find a girl that is externally everything that you could possibly have hoped. The kind of body that you fucking like, the blonde hair, the dark skin, whatever you like, and then you get to know them, and they're a skeleton of skeleton of closets. That's what we'll go with. A closet of skeletons, and their past. A lot of heavy that they're not ready to let go of yet, and a lot of toxicity they like to be attracted towards. If they are worth it, and if they are malleable in a good way, not in an abusive way, if they're malleable in a good way, where you know that with you guys working together, you can both become better people for each other, by all means, pursue that relentlessly. But I will tell you, the majority of people aren't that way, guys or gals. A lot of us are stuck in our ways because we're stubborn people. We're carnal people to be in our thing, in our place, in our drugs, in our house. Ultimately, guys, it depends, man. And that's why if you're really pray about it and act as much as you pray. If you're going to talk about somebody, pray about them. If you're non-religious, in the same regard, if they're worth pursuing, despite their flaws, because you're a flawed fuck too, keep going after it and build that relationship and work. If they're not, wipe your feet and leave. Leave toxicity in the past. Leave damage in the past. Don't let that damage come on you. It's a very vibey thing I'm about to say, and I don't mean it as such. But negative things, sinful things, dark things, however you want to call it, bad energy does rub off on you. Bad existence, bad people do rub off on you, and you'll become those things, the very things that you hate and abhor. So make sure it's worth it. Make sure you're diving into dark territory because it's worth it, and you can get them out. Don't become a product of environment. And that's a very fine line. Mark from Shotcast says, "Hey on YouTube, what up, Marky Mark?" Tab says, "Cross my son, get crossed out." Period. Absolutely, man.
Boom.
It's as simple.
Fuck
as that.
yeah.
It's as simple as that. That's good shit, man. Dude, you want to go ahead and you want to close this up?
Do I want to close it up? I guess I could close it up by saying that I've had a great time on the Blackballed Podcast. It has a great Facebook presence, and they do a lot of live streaming that I personally enjoy tuning into. And you guys should definitely stay tuned and check that fucking shit out. And if you liked my dumbass on this fucking show, then you'll love all of the fucking dumb shit I have to say while Chemtrail is talking on my show, Decentralize Now. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on you can come to our Discord page. You can go to the Facebook page and you can find our Discord link, and you can come here and you can be part of all of this while we record. We record on Thursdays typically at 10 o'clock, and if you want to come be in the Discord channel, you can say shit to us and tell us how stupid we are, and we'll say it on the show. How fucking cool is that? You can also check us out on SoundCloud. You can check us out on YouTube, even though our episodes keep getting fucking flagged and removed, but you know, that's part of the struggle. You can also check us out on SoundCloud, because we're stupid and SoundCloud is horrible, but if you like it, then good for you. I've had a really good time tonight, man. I've had a really good time tonight. I have a good time every time we hang out. I really do. It's
always great, man. It really is good. I do think that you guys should definitely check out Decentralize Now podcast. You should definitely check out their stuff on SoundCloud. Unfortunately, we all hate SoundCloud, but we have to use it. But check out their YouTube. I posted the link. I think everyone got it but Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, decentralizenowpodcast.com.
I forgot to say that. Did I forget to say the website? I suck.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Okay.
You didn't. I was just making sure that they got the link out while you were talking about that. Really good podcast, guys. And we got one last thing for you. I'm going to go ahead and take Busted off of the video part. You guys can still hear him, but I took him off because I want to make sure I play this up shop here. As always, our buddy Xavier over on the YouTubes and the Twitch platforms does make music. He makes really good music, and I want you guys to check this out. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up real quick.
Is this on the Watch Together thing?
Yes, I'm about to load that back up.
Great. I've got that pulled up.
The new video right here.
I'm sorry I destroyed the fucking videos you had pulled up, man. I just have such a good time talking to you, you know?
Oh, no, dude, absolutely. I completely enjoy that, too. I'd much rather have a fruitful discussion than scripted nonsense every once in a while. Real recognizes real.
I like that. Like, you're so like, I think it's interesting. It's always interesting to talk to you. It's always so interesting to talk to you.
No, it's good, man. I think the differing minds, as long as it is, I guess, not coming out of a place of anger from either side, politically or theologically, I think it's beneficial. Let's see. So this is new video 4 from Xavier. You can find him on YouTube at Xavier.ennis. That's Xavier Xavier .ennis 123. And this is another song by him. You can find him on YouTube. Check him out. Oh, the classic intro. Ooh. I don't know how he does it, man, but this is always good shit.
It's like super chill, right?
Right, it's like lo-fi shit. I love it. This is fucking good, man. Yeah, like I said, Xavier.ns123 on YouTube. He always makes good shit like this. Honestly, Xavier, you should make an entire like 2-hour segment of music like this, just like little like mixes. And we'll put it as the background music for the show. That way it'll always be playing. Because this shit's really good.
Yeah, man. I'd honestly like if you hit us up too, dude. Like I like this a lot.
You said what now, Busted?
Oh, I said, yeah, dude. Like, I mean, if you want to holler at us, man, we'll definitely put your stuff on our show as well. This is good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you heard that, Xavier, I got us all over here on my YouTube. Yeah, you can check him out right here. Let me scroll down so you can see that. Xavier.ns123 on the YouTube. I'm gonna give that a like, give that a subscribe. I haven't subscribed to my other channel, I believe. But that's for another time. I don't want you guys to see my information and dox me or something. But yeah, guys. If you like that stuff, check his music out. Give it a like. Also, if you heard that, Xavier, go and hit up Busted over at Decentralize Now. CJ says, very unique sound. I love it. That's on Facebook. I think Long John called me a boomer. It's probably true. I am the most boomer. Am I Gen X? I don't even know what I am. I think I'm Gen X. But guys,
yeah, I'm pretty
that
sure
was
I got
the
a
show.
few years on you there, buddy.
Oh yeah. It's okay. My joints feel like I'm 40, so I'm slowly dying. But guys, that was the show. Give a like, give a follow to Busted, Decentralize Now, and Xavier. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Until next time, keep your balls black. In all things, Christ preeminent. Honor God and be men of fucking worth in this godforsaken world. You guys can do it. I believe in you. Hashtag no wink. Exactly, man. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. All right, Busted. I appreciate it, brother.
Bro, man, thank you so much for coming on, man. Like, I really appreciate this. Like, I